following is an encore presentation of stories from the Dooralong Transformation Centre. Still sat opposite me, I introduced you to him just before the 10 o'clock news, it's Arron. So I'll say good morning to you again, Arron. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Phil.
Yeah. You were telling us before the news that you've been at Dooralong about 5 months now, and that you're a very different person than the person that walked in through those double gates.
Yes, Phil, yes.
Yeah.
100%.
So what was the old Arron like?
The old Arron was a scared individual that didn't like facing his feelings, mate. There's a lot of issues that I had through my younger sort, from 20-year-old onwards, that with relationship breakups, that I found an escape with drugs to kill that emotional pain of emotional grief. So a lot of things that I didn't like to face, and I was masking with the drugs, and I come through Dooralong now. I know it's not the way, and I've learned to live life on life terms. Yeah,
you were saying that was happening in your 20s. So you're not one of these sort of people that we've spoken to in the past who sort of became an addict early, when they were in the teens. Was there some particular incident in your life that sort of led you into the drug world?
Yes, Phil. I've come from a very hard-working background, like with family. Mum and Dad both worked very hard for me and my sister. I went to a good Catholic school, Catholic high school. I had an apprenticeship when I left school as a panel beater. I got in a relationship with the love of my life at the time, and she cheated on me with two of my best friends, and I found that's when drugs were introduced to me. So I went from feeling the worst I'd ever felt in my life to a feeling of nothing ever mattered anymore. So whenever I have these feelings of grief and emotions, I turn straight to drugs to kill that to kill that pain, and it's something that I hadn't dealt with in my whole life.
But before that, you had your trade. You were a panel beater.
Yes,
you were telling me.
Yeah.
You were a panel beater, highly skilled panel beater, from what you're saying. Sort of captain of one of the teams out at Bathurst.
Yes. As an apprentice, I got asked to go down to Bathurst and work on the smash repair team.
Yeah.
And then after the VA Supercar Series, the next year, I actually got asked to selected to be captain of the smash repair team. So that was another 12 months of the VA Supercar circuit, the 2 litres, the bikes at Bathurst, things like that. So anyone who crashed prior to the race, there's a crew that we basically fixed their cars or anything that was wrong with them to get them back out on track for race day, mate. So yeah.
Your life must have looked pretty sweet at that time for you. You were married at this time, were you?
No, I was just
You're still a young guy.
Still a young guy, I was a young father.
Yeah. My
son had just been born. So
life was good.
Life was good, and then my world was turned upside down. So this was the first love of my life, really, and it really hurt. I'd never felt that pain before, and then when the drugs were introduced to me, and it took all that pain away instantly. So it was this new quick fix that I used to actually not have to deal with that.
Had you had any involvement with drugs beforehand?
No.
Not even on a recreational basis?
No.
So this was a complete new departure for you, the whole sort of drug world.
Yeah. I knew people who sort of indulged in that sort of behaviour, but I didn't like them. I was very, very much against it.
So what happened? This must have been quite a traumatic event for you.
It was. I as I said, it was the love of my life. I'd never felt pain like that before in my life. So to find two of my friends who introduced it to me that I respected a lot, and to see them doing it, then I questioned it.
Yeah.
And once I questioned it and had it, that's when it all went pear-shaped, mate.
And you were telling me off air about it. It really sort of hit you just sort of one day when you came home with your young son.
Oh, that was down after getting with my son's mother, getting introduced to drugs. I sort of went off track. After with all the panel beating and whatnot, then I started going in and out of jobs. Once I started my drug use, ended up in jail. Then I got my life back on track. I met my wife. We had 3 beautiful kids. I actually got a second trade as a auto electrician, working in the mines, fly in, fly out work. So she was at home a lot by herself, taking care of 3 kids. At this stage, we were both smoking a bit of pot. I was off amphetamines, but then just through lack of me not being there and her having no support network, I've come home and with my son, and she'd moved 5 hours away with my daughters and emptied the house and left me with it basically. So yeah, so I turned straight back to the first thing that I knew how to deal with any pain or emotional grief was straight back to drugs, mate.
So you came back home, put the key in the door, expecting your wife and family to be there.
Yeah.
On the other side of the door, you open the door and the house is completely empty.
Yeah. First words to come out of my son's mouth were, "Dad, we've been robbed."
Yeah.
And I opened up my bedroom door and here's all my stuff neatly in a pile in the middle of the room. So that's when I sort of realised, hold on a sec,
This isn't a robbery.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've been robbed, mate. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
And so you immediately turned back to the one prop in your life which would numb all the pain?
Yeah, the one thing that that never let me down, you know. No matter how I felt, it was the one thing that would always be there for me. I could be feeling the worst I'd ever felt, or going through any grief or anything that made me feel bad, and I could just always, I knew I could turn to a drug and suppress those feelings, and you know, things would be alright for a couple of hours. You know.
So it didn't make you feel good and great, it just stopped you from feeling the pain?
It just killed all pain.
It just numbed
All pain, all emotion, and it got me through. Me through the day, you know, without being in a ball crying my eyes out.
So it wasn't a pleasurable experience in itself, but it just stopped you from experiencing the bad stuff that was happening for you.
The grief I was feeling, I couldn't have felt any worse. So, you know, anything to take that pain away for that small amount of time, you know, I turned to it. Yeah.
And how long did this go on for?
6 years down the track.
It's a long time.
I finally, by the grace of God, I found my way to Dooralong.
Yeah. How did you do that?
I actually had a friend. I actually went to jail through having to support my habit. I ended up living in drug houses, supplying drugs, just hanging around some very bad, toxic people. And through that, I ended up with charges, in jail for 4.5 months, got out with an 18-month suspended sentence. 22 days out of completing my suspended sentence, I breached it, and ended up having, I'd already put my hand up to go to Dooralong, but the merit program fast-tracked me in there. So I was absolutely blessed to not be in jail at the moment and to be able to work on my life in Dooralong. So yeah.
Was it an expensive habit to feed? I know you had two trades. You are, you've done your apprenticeship, so you're a sort of an accredited panel beater, but also an auto electrician as well.
That's correct. Yes.
So you would have been earning good money.
Yeah, I was on roughly about $100,000 a year in working in the mines, doing fly in, fly out, wiring blast hole drill rigs for a small contract company. So yeah, life was good. With the habit and not working, I had to actually supply drugs to pay for my habit and to actually get some money together to go see my kids. You know, they moved 5 hours away to parks, so it's like $1,000 round trip every time I had to go see them. So yeah.
So how much a day would your habit be costing you?
Easy $400 a day. Easy.
Yeah.
That was a bare minimum. You know, that was to get me out of bed and to kick off the day and just throughout the day. And if more was offered to me or I could afford more, I would have had more. You know,
$400.
$400 a day. So I think I've got an app on my phone. It roughly says I think it's about $51,000 I would have spent over the past. Yeah.
So the time you've been at Dooralong and clean.
Yep.
This app's calculated that over that time you saved how much?
$51,000.
$51,000.
Yeah.
And you've only been there 5 months.
Yeah, coming up 6 months. So yeah.
It's over $100,000 a year on your habit.
Just about, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's shocking. Actually shocking to actually see the figures on paper or on in front of me. Black and white in front of me. It's very daunting to think that, you know, if I could have just saved that money or put it aside or even just been at work and working and have it go towards my family and not towards myself. You know, if I'd faced my problems instead of running from them and being scared and being a man instead of like a child in a man's body and running from my problems. You know, if I'd done all these other things, life would have been a lot different. But
yeah. But you did find yourself at Dooralong. What did you make of it? You'd never been to Dooralong before, and this is your first rehab as such?
This is my first rehab, and I could not believe how beautiful and how connecting and warm and amazing the place is. There's something spiritual about the place. The caseworkers, everyone there are they're undescribable. Like the things they do for us, they go above and beyond every day. You know, they deal with us. They listen to us. They've all been through the same things we have. You know. The Salvation Army are amazing people. You know.
They are, and that's a reminder that they're having a Red Shield appeal at the moment, so there's no better sort of organisation. If you've got some spare change and you see them collecting in the shopping centres, if you can afford it, if you're able, you know, just throw in some gold coins. That would be terrific, wouldn't it? Yeah,
it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm absolutely blessed to be there. I was, as I said, like I went from, so basically my life was going from a relationship with a partner to a relationship with a drug. You know, every time a relationship went bad, I'd end up with a relationship with a drug, and to walk through them doors, you know, I was having to face all these things that I'd been suppressing for so long, and letting go of this drug and all these people in my life that I've been so used to and around this whole, so like it was very daunting. But you know, you walk through the corridors of Dooralong and here's all these people extending their hands of welcome and warmth and connection and just wanting to be there for you straight away. You know, so it made things a lot easier. And it felt like you're at home because you're amongst like-minded people who have been through the same thing as you. You know, so you can sit there and talk, and they know where you're coming from. They know
they've been there.
And then you realise you're not the only one who's felt all these things or gone through this pain. And you know, it's you're not alone basically, because in addiction, you end up isolating. You feel very alone. You don't think no one knows how you feel. You try and you want to tell your family, but you know, it's frowned upon. Hard. You know, it's very hard. You know, and like they you know, most people will say, you know, just get over it. It's just just stop doing it. Just stop using drugs. But it's not that easy. It's a disease.
It's an addiction, isn't it?
It's an addiction, and as like mine was as I said, to kill pain, emotional grief, and
who would? Anybody in the right mind doesn't want to literally sort of burn $400 a day, not to feel great, but just to numb emotion. That's all you're doing, isn't it?
Most certainly not. That's right. Yeah.
In the morning, we're talking to Arron from the Dooralong Transformation Centre. We were just extolling the virtues of Dooralong before we broke for some more music. It sounds as if you found it a really welcoming place.
I did.
Were you surprised at that?
Most definitely. Like coming from like going to jail and things like that, you sort of expect when you walk into a rehab that you're going to be dealing with the same type of people you did in addiction.
That same mentality,
that same, you know. So coming in there and finding people that are already on their journey and seeing how happy they are and how welcoming and what a peaceful place it is. It was very warming and nice to know that I was in a good place.
So you're not one of those, and we've spoken to them and we understand it, but you weren't one of those who during the first week thought had thoughts of sort of just walking out the gates.
No, I knew I was in the right place and I needed to be there. So I was ready to do whatever I had to do to get through it and come out the other side, you know, a new version and the person I was always meant to be.
So what's the hardest part of the program at Dooralong?
Step 4 was hard. You know, having a good look inside and seeing like the core of my problems and my character defects, my faults, my fears, my resentments, and actually and then with step 5 actually voicing them to someone and saying them out loud. You know, things that all this guilt and shame I'd been carrying and things I'd done that I wasn't happy with in my past, that and actually getting them off my chest. You know, and someone saying it's all right.
So it's being honest with yourself and acknowledging any hurt, any anger, any guilt, all the emotions.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be hard because you do this in group work as well, do you?
Yes. Yeah. The step work you do with caseworker, but like we do NA, GA, AA meetings every night, in-house meetings. So they're a platform where you can go. Share how you're going. We do a reading just for today, so you can share on the reading, or you can take a lucky dip. But it's a platform where you can go with like-minded people and sit there and listen to each other's stories and how their addiction has been, and actually find the connections with people through these rooms, because you realise you're not the only person who's been through certain situations or felt the way that you've actually felt, and that's where you get. I got most out of my recovery is actually being in them rooms and listening to other people's shares and sharing, getting this stuff off my chest.
And is this the first time you've ever articulated and spoken those fears and those emotions and those feelings? Is it the first time you've sort of brought them to the surface and shared with other people?
Yes, 100%. Like,
and is that liberating? I know it's scary, but how do you feel doing that?
It's like a weight is lifted off your shoulders, and actually walking out of the meeting and having people come up and putting their hand on your shoulder and going, mate, I know exactly how you feel. Like, I've been through a similar thing, and that's what they say. They look at the similarities, not the differences. So it's just they're a beautiful thing. They're a great thing, and like, it's something I'm going to have to do for the rest of my life, with my recovery is stay connected within a fellowship and do meetings, keep my spirituality up, excuse me. And without all that stuff in place, that's where when I start.
Sorry for interrupting,
You're right.
but the danger is, I think, our ego takes over, perhaps, or I'm speaking for myself, my ego would take over. After a little while out of Dooralong, I can see myself saying, I've been clean for a couple of months, I've got that NA meeting next week, and it's cold, I'd rather not go, or I've got, I can watch the footy instead. You have to be on your guard against that sort of thing.
Yeah, when I start running on my own will is when I get in trouble. That's because obviously I wasn't doing a very good job of it myself prior to coming in there. So I need to hand over all these things to my higher power. And know that I'm in good hands.
And you've mentioned sort of addressing not just your emotional sort of needs, your physical needs, but your spiritual needs as well.
Yes, it's a major part of it. Like, and it was daunting a bit coming in there. Like, as I said, I went through a Catholic primary school, All Saints College, Lochaber, good Catholic high school, private school. So I had a connection with God at a young age, but I did turn my back on him there for a while, and to walk through the doors at Dooralong and go to chapel on that first night and just see this warmth and everyone praising and just that good vibe and happiness and just that love and connection, mate. And it's beautiful, and
it's a different spiritual experience than the one you got when you were growing up at the Catholic school.
Yeah, it was a lot warmer. Like, it's very hard to explain something spiritual about that place. Like, there's been instances where I've woke up with some bad dreams, and then you go up that morning to roll call, and the reading of the day is exactly on on the emotion you're going through, and you just go, all right, okay, big fella, like, I understand, I've got to work on this, or
it happens once and you think that's coincidence, but when it happens 2 or 3 times,
time and time again, and then you hear people say the same thing, and you just go, I know exactly what happens to me all the time. So.
And you go to, is it North Lakes Church you were telling me?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And that's a good place to go on a Sunday.
Beautiful place to go down on a Sunday. Yeah, it's highly recommend it. Yeah.
So you've approached this in a really holistic way, haven't you? Physical, mental, emotional, but not neglecting the spiritual sort of side of things.
That's correct. I believe if you get out of the program what you put into it, and if you're not going to be honest with yourself, then you're not going to get anywhere, really. You're only letting yourself down. So I recommend just if there's anyone out there that is going through this, like,
reach out.
There's a better life. There is a better life, and we're all worth it, and we all deserve better. So and just give it a good hot red hot crack.
You may have made some bad life choices in the past, but you made one pretty amazingly good life decision when you went to Dooralong.
Yes.
And we are back. It's 20 to 11 on this Wednesday morning, talking to Arron. He's been telling us about his stay at Dooralong. He's been there 5 months. How much longer is it going to be for you, Arron?
I've got about 5 weeks before I can actually finish level 2, and then I've got the opportunity to go as a re-entry, but I really want to get back out into the workforce and start living life on life's terms, mate, and use these tools that I've got in my belt now to actually deal with all this stuff. So so another 5 weeks and then you graduate-ish. 5 weeks and then you graduate. Yeah.
Will you go back to live where you used to live, or how's it going to work out for you?
Well, it'd be difficult. I could do it, but it's like, well, I'm not going to jump out of the frying pan in the fire type thing. I'm not going to go back into old habits, and so it'd be nice to live in a different area and just start it completely afresh. I've wiped all the old associates from that lifestyle.
That's the danger. Is that if you go back to where you used to live, people will be seeing the old Arron and sort of trying to sort of drag you back into that lifestyle.
That's right. Yeah. It's happened. It's already happened since being in Dooralong. Even I've had a few opportunities come up for to people asking me to get back into them old habits, and you do a bit tough in there with no money and whatnot. But and here was an opportunity to make easy money. Supposedly there's no such thing as easy money, but these guys, they're still out there and they're deluded, but I turned it down straight away, and I wouldn't look back and try and take that up again. I've learned so much since being at Dooralong, and I know that there's no, if you want anything bad enough, you've got to work hard for it.
And you've got sort of 4 great motivations to get your life to keep it clean, especially with 3 beautiful daughters.
Yep.
What ages are they?
14, 10, and we're turning 10 and 8.
Yeah. So they really want a dad in their life, don't they? They need a dad in their life.
That's right. And I've got my son. He's turning 19 this year as well. He's been an absolute soldier. Like to go through what he did with me, and be by my side, and for me to be that selfish and not even consider how he was feeling about the whole situation, and just he's gone above and beyond. He's worked through all that himself. He's now just he's picked up a bit of work in Sydney, shaping surfboards. It's a bit of a dream of his, he's I've got a mate who's put him up in one of his factories, and just for a bit of free accommodation for him, just to kick him off, and
give him a start.
I'm so proud of him at the moment, mate. He's he comes. My best mate Megan, she comes out every second Wednesday with my son, and has a meal with me and brings him out, and it's nice to hear the boys say that he's so proud of me and whatnot, and see that glint in his eyes when I see him, and just to give him a big hug, and to feel that he's actually proud of what I'm doing, and it's just beautiful.
You've got all the motivation in the world to keep yourself clean.
Yes, mate. Yes.
Yeah. Look, before we finish, you've got a shout out, haven't you?
Yeah, my mate James Hughes, mate. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, buddy. James and I, we actually went for a detox and everything together. So
he's another sort of one of the guys from Dooralong.
Yep.
Is he still there?
No, he left about 2 months ago, but he's still in recovery, mate. He's going great. He's actually just popped up at another Christian rehab. So he's doing really good. He's actually going home back to Coffs Harbour for his birthday. So yeah, mate.
You probably forged sort of lifelong friendships in Dooralong, do you?
Yes.
Through adversity.
Yep.
You probably know more about sort of the secrets of those guys' lives than any other people in your life.
Yes, mate.
You've all shared it together.
That's right. And as you say, it's a connection we have with people, because you both gone through some adversity, and you both basically taking your life back.
Yeah. Well, we do pray that God will continue to guide you along the right paths, and you'll still be going to, wherever you go, you'll still be going to a local church, a Salvos church, or hopefully North Lakes, something like that.
Yes, I'll be sticking around the North Lakes for a long while. Yeah, love the vibe there. The band, the verses, they're great.
Yeah. Now, there's one of these, we're talking about sort of coincidences or God instances, they're called, aren't we? Arron was telling me that the worship band down at North Lakes is a band called Verses.
Yes, that's correct.
Unbeknown to him and unbeknown to me, the next track we've got lined up here is Verses, would you believe? So I think that was meant to be. I think we're meant to be listening to Verses. So thanks very much, Arron, for coming in. Have a great chapel night. You've been listening to an encore presentation of the Dooralong stories, which can be heard live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and repeated 8 p.m. Sunday and 1 a.m. Wednesday, right here on 94.9 rema.cc.